Kanye West is definitely an interesting guy, and there are a few Grammy-related stories making waves right now. One of them involves Ye and his wife, Bianca Censori, who showed up to the Grammys in an outfit, or rather, a lack of one, that had everyone talking. We'll also touch on Kendrick Lamar making history and a situation where Babyface was disrespected. If you're only interested in certain topics, timestamps are available so you can skip around. Let's start with Kanye. He's been all over the headlines after essentially having his wife show up to the Grammys almost completely naked. This whole situation is wild, especially considering Kanye's public stance on faith, family values, and his strong opposition to his daughter being on TikTok due to explicit content. It makes you wonder, was all that talk just for show? At the event, Bianca initially had on a fur coat while walking the red carpet with Ye. But as the cameras flashed, it became clear that underneath the coat, she was barely wearing anything. The internet has been buzzing about it ever since. A little later, Bianca turned her back to the cameras and let the fur coat slip all the way down. It almost seemed like Kanye was subtly guiding her without actually saying much, like this was something they had planned beforehand. A few moments later, he stepped away, leaving her to face a flood of paparazzi flashes on her own. At that point, she was practically wearing nothing. Technically, she had something on, but whatever it wasn't doing much to cover her up. And that's what makes this whole thing so wild. This is the Grammys, one of the biggest nights in music, and here's Kanye West, one of the most famous rappers ever, having his wife show up basically naked. It's no surprise this has been going viral. But honestly, if you've followed Kanye long enough, this isn't out of character for him. He has this strange obsession with putting his wife in hypersexualized outfits, and at this point, no one really knows what's going on with him. It's just ironic because this is the same guy who went on rants about not wanting his daughter on TikTok because of inappropriate content. He made a valid point back then, but looking at this situation, it's hard not to feel like that was all just talk.
Kim, I told her to stop antagonizing me with this TikTok thing. I said it's never again. I am her father. I am not allowing my daughter to be used by TikTok, to be used by Disney.
I'm actually glad there's been such a strong reaction to this because, seriously, what's going on here? We all know Kanye loves controversy and thrives on this kind of attention, but his actions just don't add up anymore. He might be the biggest contradiction in hip-hop right now, to be honest. After this whole scene, there were rumors floating around that Kanye and Bianca got kicked out of the Grammys for showing up uninvited. Turns out, that wasn't true. The rumor supposedly started with Don Lemon, the journalist and former CNN anchor who got fired in 2023 after making sexist comments about presidential candidate Nikki Haley. Kanye didn't hold back. He called Don Lemon a liar on Instagram for spreading this fake story. When it comes to Kanye and his wife, it's pretty obvious what's going on. He seems to only value her for her looks and sex appeal. He's an older guy with a lot of money and status, so she's probably not complaining and is just enjoying the ride. Back in 2023, while they were in Italy, Kanye and Bianca made headlines for all the wrong reasons. They ended up getting banned from a Venice boat rental company because Kanye decided to, well, expose himself, literally. This happened right after Bianca was spotted on her knees in a situation that didn't leave much to the imagination. And yes, this was out in public, in broad daylight in Italy. Kanye's constant push to sexualize his wife in front of the world is just bizarre at this point. It honestly feels like he's doing it just to stay in the headlines, because let's be real, sex sells. But what's even weirder is how he still tries to present himself as this God-fearing man. You can't have it both ways. Honestly, they should have been kicked out of the Grammys for this type of behavior. It's completely unacceptable to expose yourself like that in public. If it were a regular guy, he'd probably be arrested on the spot, and rightfully so, because public indecency is a crime. But when celebrities pull stunts like this, nothing ever seems to happen to them. The level of hypersexualization in media today is just out of control. The level of hypersexualization in today's media is overwhelming. It's everywhere. Music, movies, social media. It's being pushed so aggressively that it feels less like artistic expression and more like an agenda. And funny enough, Kanye is always the one complaining about agendas being pushed against him, yet he's actively feeding into the very system he claims to be against. The irony is wild. At this point, he's one of the biggest opportunists out there, constantly contradicting himself.
Like Us ended up winning 5 different awards, which is insane.
First and foremost, all praise to the Most High. We woke up this morning.
Kendrick won Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Music.
Together to fuel this wave of Drake hate. But here's the thing, if the roles were reversed and Drake had come out on top, these same institutions would be celebrating him just as much. It's easy to support Kendrick right now because he's winning big, and that's just how the industry works. That being said, I'm happy to see Kendrick getting the recognition he deserves. The Drake beef aside, I'm not even invested in that drama. It's just great to see real hip-hop being celebrated on such a massive scale. Kendrick has contributed so much to the lyrical side of the genre, and seeing him win at this level is a win for hip-hop as a whole. An artist of Kendrick's caliber receiving this level of praise isn't something we see all the time. Yes, hip-hop is always in the spotlight, but moments like this, where a truly lyrical artist is celebrated on such a massive scale, are special. As someone who's followed Kendrick since the beginning, it's incredible to see how far he's come. I'm excited to see what's next for him, and honestly, I can't help but wonder, how is Drake feeling about all this? Now, let's talk about the bonus story that went viral. This one involves Babyface. He's an absolute legend in R&B, one of the most iconic names in the genre's history. Like many other stars, he was at the Grammys, but something happened on the red carpet that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. During an interview with AP News, Babyface was mid-conversation when the interviewer suddenly cut him off, completely dismissing him, just because another artist, Chappell Roan, happened to walk by. It was flat-out disrespectful. You can check out the clip for yourself, but it's wild to see a legend like Babyface being treated like that.
Yes, I think it's interesting.
Chapel.
You guys want to do that? Go through that.
Hello, how's it going, Chapel? Hello. Yes. How are you? Oh my gosh.
This was beyond unprofessional. It was downright disrespectful. And what makes it even worse is that it happened to a legend. Babyface isn't just some random artist. He's an icon who has shaped the music industry for decades, writing and producing some of the biggest records of all time. He's highly respected, and to see a reporter treat him like a placeholder, only to drop him the second someone else walked by, is just embarrassing. You don't treat legends like that. It was distasteful, plain and simple. The backlash has been intense, and rightfully so. I'm actually glad people are calling it out because behavior like this shouldn't be overlooked. And let's be real, this happened during Black History Month, which makes it even worse. I'm not trying to turn this into a race issue, but come on, the timing couldn't be more tone deaf. There are now reports that the reporter was fired over this, but it's still unclear if that's actually true. It's hard to say for sure if she'll actually get fired, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't. The truth is, the people who hired her probably trained her to move this way. At big events like the Grammys, interviewers have to be quick, adaptable, and ready to pivot when a high-profile guest comes along. She saw Babyface, figured she'd get a quick interview in, but the moment someone she really wanted to talk to walked by, she was out. Still, that doesn't make it any less unprofessional. Babyface deserved better. What I do respect, though, is how gracefully he handled it. He didn't take offense, didn't get upset. He just let her go with a simple, "Go ahead and do your thing." That level of class says a lot about his character. In the grand scheme of things, this isn't the biggest scandal, but it's still frustrating to see a legend like Babyface get dismissed so quickly for someone who's only just started making a name for themselves. He's put in decades of work and deserves way more respect. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys think about all this. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.